The rule in Vegas.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome. I'm Tom, the Sunday dinner chef, and today's guest. We do this. Gonna try to do this at least once a month. Charlie from Cooking Secrets for Men. Charlie, how you doing?
Everybody, Tom, good morning. It is morning where you are.
Yes, it is. I'm gonna take the music off. How you been?
Good. Been doing a lot of traveling. It's today is the first really nice day we've had out here in Milwaukee in a long time. It's sunny. Of course, it's like 45 degrees, and that counts as a heat wave in April. But it just kind of going along, getting ready for spring. Doing the stuff on cooking, and we were talking just a minute ago, but doing a lot of work in the public school system, various little things, fun things going on. So just keep busy.
I do say that you do keep yourself pretty busy, and your channel reflects it. It really does. There again, I encourage anybody who hasn't seen Charlie's channel to go ahead and subscribe and watch it. Very interesting stuff. A lot of great people. A lot of people that I'm saying to myself, how the hell did he get him on the show? You know what I mean? But I mean, really good stuff. Right? I really do like it.
Well, I told you how I get him on the show.
Let's not reveal the secret.
Well, there was one guy who lives in my building, and he's on the 40 under 40 list, and his name is Zach. And I know him. And I said, "Hey, Zach, you want to come on the show?" He said, "Sure." So that's how I got Zach on the show. It's real hard. Walked up the elevator, said, "Hey, Zach, you want to be on the show?"
I've been putting content up from my bed because I get hit with. I don't know if it was. We didn't go to the doctor, so I don't know if it was allergies. But I mean, everything blew. We went from 40 degrees during the day, 32 at night, okay, to 70.
That's allergies. Absolutely.
And I watched one tree, with flowers and leaves and stuff like that. So the pollen on my deck is like ridiculous. So I don't know if that hit me or not.
I'm sure. What I find interesting from a health standpoint is that as you age, your immune system gets stronger in some respects, but for some reason with allergies, it gets weaker. And you end up. I said, I never had these allergies before, and they said, well, as you age, sometimes your allergies you're more susceptible. And I said, it makes no sense. But I would bet that when you have an explosion of spring weather and flowers start coming out, I think that's it.
So, and the last time I went to my doctor, I says, I'm just getting sinus headaches and stuff like that. He says, well, you're probably allergic to palm trees. I said, shoot. I said, I'm just getting ready to move to Tahiti. I mean, these crazy guys, that unbelievable. But things been going pretty good. I mean, like I said, it was a wacky year out here because of the weather change. California getting hammered with rain and stuff. So we get, being deep in the valley here, I can see coming over the mountains, okay, and gets dark. Doesn't rain a lot, but we did have a lot of rain. But then I could feel my joints. Get ready. Forget about the dry. We got humidity here, so. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I've been Sunday dinner chef, and you're pulling a lot of stuff out from the old days, which I thoroughly enjoy. And I saw Marie's sausage and pepper. I have not watched it yet. I just saw a little blurb on Facebook, so I got to go find that.
I got to tell you, okay. I mean, back in New Jersey, okay, that used to be a war, okay. Who made the best sausage? Okay, they would travel the state to go to these different places. And as a matter of fact, the best bread made in New Jersey came from Hoboken. Okay. Everybody would say about all the bakeries that were up there, Hoboken bread. And actually they would ship the bread throughout the state to, down the shore, boardwalk places and everything. I found this bread in Kroger's, actually Smith's out here, but it's Kroger's. They had their own bakery. And they found these little bit smaller Portuguese rolls. Mm-hmm. When nobody was looking, I opened up the door and I squeaked. Oh, I said, "Oh, baby." So we got this. So I said, "Here, Oh, she said, I'm making this. I'm making this. Okay, so that's what we did. And I'm going to tell you what, Charlie. It was delicious. Unfreaking believable. There's certain things that you really can't screw it up too much.
Right.
There's certain little ingredients that you got to put into it to bring you back home again. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna watch it. But did she use sweet Italian sausage?
Yeah, and you know what? It looked when I bought it, I said, "Whoa, man, I must have got the wrong stuff because it was really dark. It was dark red." So I was kind of puzzled about that it wasn't hot. But I like to put my little, my hot olive oil in, my peppered olive oil.
Well,
I got this Sunday coming up now. Okay, God forgive me. I made homemade ravioli, and I wasn't feeling good when I made it. You hear her laughing?
the audience is having a good time.
So what I did was I entered this ravioli into the ugliest ravioli you ever seen in your life. Okay, but it was good. What happened was I made the dough a couple days ahead of time, and then that's when I got sick. So I took it, put it up in the freezer, and actually it altered it. I'm not making excuses, but trying to roll it out, and just was the weather out here, how dry it is, and stuff. Just it was a tough thing to work with, but it came out all right. It was okay. I had fun doing it, but if anybody thinks that I'm a professional ravioli maker, not this trip.
Yeah, it's never been one of my strong points.
But
ever make ravioli.
But I did make it with what do you call it? What the hell was that, Marie, again? The flour? No, semolina. But what I did, I didn't use a lot of semolina. I used a third of a cup and a cup and a quarter of all-purpose flour. Normally, I would use 00 with it, and I tell you, it really come out and it had a nice taste to it, but ugly as hell. Let's see. So what you got coming up for?
You know what tomorrow is?
What's
tomorrow? I'm sure Marie knows. She has to. Tomorrow's World Carbonara Day.
Carbonara.
She didn't know that. She didn't know
that. I didn't know in Sicily.
You like carbonara, though?
Oh yeah, it's. I have a I think I might have told you the story before, but I have a Italian tutor in Pisa in Italy, and I made carbonara with my son and was telling her about it, and I said, guanciale, black pepper, eggs, uovo, and I said, and Parmesan, and she said, no Parmesan, pecorino. So I started to think about it. I said, well, I think all of the Roman pastas, the 4 Roman pastas, all use pecorino because Parmesan comes from Parma up in Emilia Romagna. Mm-hmm. And then Lazio, where Rome is, much more mountainous, and there's more, the sheep are more prevalent there. So sheep's milk, sheep's cheese. Everybody thinks Parmesan is ubiquitous throughout Italy, but each region, as we can talk about the upcoming collab, but
a lot of people don't know the difference either.
Right. It's white cheese. It's, what's the difference? But one's sheep's and one's cow cheese or cow milk. But so I've always remembered that whenever I make carbonara, it says, no Parmesan. There's no Parmesan, no cream, no butter, no bacon, no garlic, no milk. Carbonara is, what is it? It's black pepper, eggs, cheese, pecorino, pasta, and pasta water. That's it.
Yep. And I used to make it in that one Italian restaurant I work in, but I am allergic to raw egg.
Are you?
So, oh yeah. I mean, and not the yolk, but just I guess the white. We figured it out after a while. That's why I always have scrambled eggs when I'm having it. But if I make something with egg, it's got to be cooked. You know what I mean? A little bit more than with that. So some carbonaras that I have had was I would start feeling my lip blowing up a little bit.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, there, we watched the other night. We watched. I can't remember his name, but this guy was making.
Maria, are you thinking of Barada?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
and we watched this guy make pastas. He made probably by hand, probably 20 or 30 different types of different fresh pasta. And I'm watching this guy and I'm saying, with the twists and and all this stuff like that, how he did it. He had a special, he had it was a bone, looked like a needle, but it was made from bone. They didn't say, they didn't say whose bone, but you know what I mean? And how he would roll the pasta on it, the little ribbons and stuff.
Right.
You talk about a lot of work. Holy moly. And especially just making, I love making doughs and the pastas like that. But for me to indulge into making something, as far as I go, I'll make it for fall, waffle and little bow ties. And that's as far as I go with it. You know what I mean? But this guy was making rolling out all different shapes and shells and stuff like that. So very interesting to me. That's the kind of stuff I like. I like to watch that. Makes you go, how about that? So
yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, right. Let me turn the channel on. Let me put a cartoon on, type of thing.
I agree. I like watching people make pasta, but it's just the intricacies of some of them, like the potato one,
gnocchi.
Gnocchi, yeah, and you got to use your thumb over a little serrated board, and I would do it once, which I have, just to say I've done it, but no, that's not for me. I just don't have the attention span.
I on the keto channel, I was making the pasta out of cream cheese, some eggs, and
Right. On the pan.
Yeah, on the pan. Yeah. But then I try to cut them, and so I bought a rolling pin that had the ridges in it. I like thin spaghetti. That's my go-to. I rolled this thing out. I told my Ray, put this by the firewood. I'm going to burn this thing because it didn't work. You know what I mean? It kept sticking to it. And my problem is I have no patience.
Right.
So, even with this ravioli, it was still a little sticky, and I didn't let it dry enough, to put it through its paces. Like I said, it came out okay, but that's as far as I go. The mechanisms and stuff that they sell for these people to buy to make pasta, and that's why you see it in garage sales all the time. And that pasta machine, it didn't work.
I have a KitchenAid with the attachments, and it works fine. I make it a couple times a year.
Yeah.
I don't need enough. If in a group, I'd make fresh pasta, but for two of us, I'm not doing it. For
the price of it, I mean, we go to I go to this half-assed restaurant supply place. I mean, you can get two for $1.99. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't pay for you to make it. I mean, just every once in a while I get a weld here, so I like to do it. But breads, I like to make breads. I like to make breads, pizzas, and different types of bread.
You've been making a couple here and there. I know a couple of the collabs. Was it one of the Middle Eastern ones?
The lavish bread.
Yeah, lavish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? It boils down to where I couldn't walk. So most of the videos, you don't see my face, or you don't see me moving around because I couldn't.
Most of yours is voiceover now, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been doing all the voiceovers and stuff. Because you didn't want to hear the regular ones. Holy moly. Dropping stuff. And a couple of them, Marie's hiding behind me, holding my belt so I don't fall over.
That's nice of her.
Unbelievable. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to stop, Charlie. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I had a little bit of a, I guess a problem. I guess it is a problem. With the keto world, with me doing different keto stuff and everything else like that, right. and just listen to that nonsense. I don't care about it no more. I'm doing what pleases me. You want to watch, you watch. If not, I don't know what to tell you. You know. And like I said, I'm gonna once I'm up moving around again, I'm gonna start doing a review thing with different local restaurants here. Nothing bad, no negative stuff, and I'm just gonna go have some dinner and showcase the place. Basically, what it is.
There was a couple in Florida, and it was two in like B&G, or
I know who you're talking about.
he had a ponytail, and
Yep.
they'd
Yep.
go to restaurants and they'd sit there and but a combination of eating, ordering, and then sometimes they'd have the chef or the owner come out and then chit chat with them. And I always thought they were great. They've stopped doing it, or they moved to another. I think they might have gone to another platform. I have seen them.
They were the ones who I can't remember their name, but his name was Adrian, and I don't know, I can't remember what her name was. But they're the ones who introduced me to Newsbreak.
I think they might have gone over there because they're down in Florida somewhere.
Orlando.
Yeah, I was gonna say
in Orlando.
They go to Disney all the time. But yeah, that's the type of thing they'd go. They stand out in front of the restaurant. They take a selfie looking back at it, and then go in. And I found it inviting, interesting, and I'm sure the Orlando Chamber thought it was a good thing too.
Yeah, he would actually wasn't a bad cook himself.
Yeah,
and he would showcase different meals that he would go and have.
Right.
I believe he was Cuban, and I can't remember her name, Nancy or something. I don't think it was Nancy, but anyway. But they were nice people. But in the way I want to do this is I want to showcase the local town, and food prices are ridiculous, and these guys are really struggling. You know what I mean? To keep the doors open, especially when you're in the middle of a revitalization of a town. And downtown Henderson, the main street is Water Street. I mean, it's really pretty. They got a lot of different. I was telling you before, a lot of buildings that went belly up or abandoned.
Right.
The town retook them back and either sold them or leased them to people to put restaurants in. There's a wine tasting place there. There's a microbrewery, a lot of different specialty restaurants. And that seems to be the new trend now. Like a pasta house.
Right.
Or still haven't found any good seafood here, but
in the middle of the desert, I'm not understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's something that wouldn't kill you with prices.
Well, the idea of doing something in your home environment, and I think that's one of the reasons I've had some success with my show, the Community Leader Show, is because it's Milwaukee centric. And I talked to a woman today who's going to come on the show in a few weeks, and she said, "Oh, G from your show, he's on my board, and I saw blah blah blah, and I know blah blah." So there's this coming together, commonality, and there's a comfortable feeling, and it's also from what you want to do. It's free advertising, Hey, I want to put you on for free. I'm not going to charge you. I just want to come in and. That. So I think that is, and that goes back to the couple we were talking about in Florida. I mean, they go around all the different places, and Disney 25 times.
Yeah, and the thing here's what clicked in my brain was, excuse me, playing in the band, and I actually started on Facebook the SST Vegas Live Music SST band, whatever I put on there. Okay. They brought another guy in to play drums, and he sang the whole bit. The problem is are you coming back? Are you coming back? Are you coming back? Yes, I'm going to come back. Okay. And then there's different changes that they put into it. So I said to Maria, I says, I got to put my big boy pants on now and figure out, am I going to keep these guys leading on that I'm coming back, and then I'm going to be all right to come back? I had no problem playing. I just couldn't get to the stage. Right. If they helicopter me, drop me in there, I'd be all right. But not to lead these guys on. But the backing I got from the casino, personally, okay, aha. So they have a regular restaurant, open. You can get steaks to eggs and bacon. You know what I mean? Then they have the Italian restaurant Italiano there. Okay, and we've eaten there a couple times and stuff like that. So it was more humbling that they wanted me, come on in, have this, we'll, do this with you. You want to do this and do that. So I said, you know what? It's time. I'm getting up in the age where I can't carry the equipment around no more. I don't want to. Let's put it that way. This is more or less my forte here. And that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not doing no negative stuff with nobody.
Right.
So.
Good. Well, I have you're on Medicare, right?
Yeah.
So we're not yet. My wife's still working. So we're still on corporate plan. And these are first world problems under anyone's definition. But since my wife's over 70, she can collect full Social Security and still work and make. I mean, it's almost like stealing. Why? I don't understand how you can make a ton of money, but also, take Social Security. But it's there. It's not like we're gaming the system. It's there. But the part that I wanted to ask you about. So we have a financial advisor who specializes in retirement. So we have, investment accounts all over the place. And his job is to talk about sequencing, which go where, but he's also a Medicare expert. So he starts explaining, my wife's retiring at the end of June. So that's going to change my life completely.
Yep. She's sitting right here.
Right.
I see a story coming.
I just, she goes off to work as she has for, her entire adult life. And then, in July 1st, she's going to be here every day. Hello to our treasured home.
Hey, Nancy. Hello.
So, so that leads up to why we're talking to our retirement guy. And he starts explaining Medicare. Says, well, you've already signed up. You have to sign up for Part A when you're 65. I already done that. So Part B, you have this, and this. And then there's Part D where you have this, and this. And you got to do this. And then there's dental insurance. I think, how do you figure it out? And the question is, how do people who are not well-read, who are not educated, who have less means, how do they figure it out? Because if I'm struggling and I'm educated, my wife's educated, and we're having problems with it, how do people who really struggle, how do they get through this?
They get overwhelmed with the paperwork and with the demagoguery of thou, then, here, why, who, that. And what happens is it almost happened to me. They're looking for that hook. You know what I mean? Okay, well, I can go to any doctor I want, the whole bit. Aha. What's your copay? Okay. Right now they have a thing that I don't know if you have noticed it on Facebook and a couple TV advertisements where Advantage plans. Right. Sign up for this Advantage plan and you can get a $3,000 food card. Okay. Well, what happens is they take away. I have Humana. Okay. I've had Humana for a while. I switched off to United Health and it went right back to Humana again. Because I'm a creature of habit, I guess.
Right.
But the Advantage plan, they take you away from everything else, and you got to take their plan. They'll send you that money out, but you got to pay that back in the fine print. So it's real hard to do. What I do, Charlie, is I took basically the basic plan. I have Humana Gold, okay? Because the more you pay, you think you're getting more stuff. I just read an article a couple days ago where there is starting to have some of these smaller healthcare plans, okay, going belly up,
right?
Because of the price of pharmaceuticals.
Well, that's one, and then also the explosion of boomers retiring and then tackling into the system.
No, and people don't realize there is no more family practices.
Right.
It's all corporate.
Yep.
Out here, I have what they call Intermountain Healthcare. Okay, they're out of Utah. They're all over the place. Okay, so you can't have them now. You go out of network. That's what I'm fighting about my knee right now. Okay, because they all told me you're not. If you can't, the doctor himself told me if we can't get you in here to see what's going on, go to the emergency room. There's another scam. You go in the emergency room, got to wear a mask. Put a mask on because you don't know who's there, and that's what the security guard gives you right there. Now I can't walk. I come in on a. It almost looked like a comedy act, all right, with me and Marie trying to get me in with a walker. Okay, I get in there. I was there 20 minutes. Okay, they told me the orthopedic's not here today, but you go to his office. We'll set it up so that you go to his office. So that tells me that the orthopedic that's there, okay, who oversees everybody else, okay,
Right.
my insurance wouldn't cover it because you know what? It's not in my plan. I said, aha, wait a minute. You can spend days with this on phone calls waiting on there. I said, wait a minute. This was told to me to go there by the hospital, okay? And the reason why I went to this guy rather than going back to my plan was they told me to treat this as an in-house. In other words, that they were keeping me in there, but that RVA, whatever, and the flu was rampant at the time here 7 months ago.
Right.
So I went there. Finally, they had to pay for it. I mean, so it's not like, healthcare the way it used to be. It's everything's changing. You really, really got to be on top of your game with it because you can get lost in the dust.
Well, I have the story my wife tells is her grandmother was widowed. Her husband died, and they were sat her down. Her sons sat her down and tried to explain to her about the different that we got this investment here, and you have this money here, and you've got this, and you got that. And she said, no. I just want a checking account that works. That's all I got. And don't tell me the rest of the stuff. And that's what I feel like with this healthcare says, I don't want to know. It's just, here's my HSA card. Okay. Just take care of it. But no, that's not how it works.
So I had to get, this is how it changed within a year. I had to get the prescription I had to get from the doctor, and I had to take the prescription and not mail it, but I had to screenshot it and send it to.
Right.
Now they have, I can't think of it, a sample or whatever it's called. Who's the new pharmacist for Humana? Okay. And then they call me back. That's when I was going with the rift of who was gonna, why I couldn't have it, what they were paying for, and the whole 9 yards from there. So finally, I got fed up. I listened to them after a while because there again, I don't know everything, and I'm trying to understand what they're talking about. And I kept telling them 3 or 4 times, speak English, and because that's the problem. They speak at you, and they expect everybody to understand it. Like you said, the common non-educated person, okay, they have over a barrel. We either choose A or B. So I told you before, I said, I'm going to speak to the doctor who says that I can't have this at your company. Well, there is no doctor. It's a rule. I said, well, you know what? I says, I would think that an orthopedic surgeon who is authorizing this for me to get this shot, rather than surgery, you would go for. Okay. All right, hold on a minute. And we went round and round, and finally they offered it. They were going to send me the prescription to my house.
So you were going to you're going to administer it to yourself?
I said, I got a turkey baster I can probably shoot this thing in with. You know what I mean? But that's how crazy it's getting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said, it was back in middle of March that I've been fighting for this. And now I go next Wednesday, the 10th. So all this time I'm waiting, and you just have to take everything in your own hands. I mean, I know. I
I agree, but it's just
It's a money making deal, Charlie.
Well, yeah.
You know that. Everything is about. They don't give a rat's ass one way or the other about what we do or how we do it, as long as you pay. And there again, I had to pay for this up front because it wasn't covered. So I paid for something that I don't even know if it's going to work.
So, but are you being reimbursed?
No, if it doesn't work, no.
Well, this is all out of pocket.
Yeah. So I mean,
is this the injections and that kind of takes the place of cartilage?
Yeah, it replaces your the fluid on your knee, around your cushions and stuff.
Yeah, I had a buddy that I used to play basketball with who did that, and it worked fine. But there was a point where it did, it was going great, and then it would slowly go away. But I think there's a time frame where 4 months.
No, I bought the prescription that I paid for was 4 injections that are good. That are good for a year. So the first one will go. Actually, it's actually 2 injections to start with. So they're like 2 weeks apart, and then you monitor it for a couple months, and then if you need it, you can keep it from there. So that's like I don't know, but but you really got to be on your P's. Even now, here's my bitch. Okay. The food prices. I see a lot of people out here struggling right now, okay, who have a pretty good retirement, okay? Right. Rents out here went through the roof, okay? Food prices are, Charlie, I hate to keep doing this to you, but I got this 4 or 5 months ago, a chuck roll for $52, okay? Now it's $152.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just sad, really is sad. So on my next, you're going to like this one, on my next keto video.
Wednesday video?
Yeah, not this one. Yeah, this I think it's this coming Wednesday. I went off the rails. Okay, and what I did was I stepped out of the circle, and what I did was I over narrated it. Look at this guy. He's exploding. So I did like a self-analysis of me bitching and moaning about it. But I mean, and then on top of it, okay, I went in the morning to our regular grocery store, I tell you, the restaurant supply place. And I got like 10 items. It was $144. 1 pack of meat, chicken, I think it was. Everything else is like, I mean, heavy cream for half gallon is $10.99. I buy cheese in bulk, okay, like $18, $19 for 4 pounds, I think it is. But I mean, just bitching and moaning. So I told Marie, I'm going to the Mexican store. I'm going over to La Benita, and then I go through that. I got 3 or 4 pounds of jalapenos, $3. I got let's see, I got 3 Anaheim, 79 cents. I mean, the prices were like fraction of what I was paying the other place.
Right.
So here's where it gets funny. And I did take a picture of it. I come out, we go to the car. My car's parked like this, and somebody pulled in.
I saw that.
Okay.
V-shaped.
Yeah. Well, Marie was like, "Oh boy." Now, my younger days, I'd probably be eating beanie weenies and playing pit pat at the county jail, But I seen the guy was a veteran on his plate. He had a handicap card, so I said, you know what? So I got into it and got home. But my whole point is that you're looking at. I watched a lady go up and down the aisle and putting stuff back out of her cart because she had her phone calculating up. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Say hi to Simon.
Yeah.
Simon, what's up, brother?
Simon? Yeah, I know things have gone up substantially, and there's times I'll look at it and go, I'm not buying that. But other times I say, yes, I want this for dinner, so I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, some prices, and then yet my wife has always laughed at me because I clip coupons, and I have for years. And she says, "Why do you do that?" I said, "It's a game for me. It's, I'm going to go shopping on Fridays because I get double points for gas, and then I'm going to have a big grocery buy on Fridays because blah, blah, and I don't. And if I wait till Wednesday, then this is going to be on sale, and it's it's what old people do in retirement."
Yeah, and I watch my daughter with 2 grown boys. I mean, these guys. My youngest is 15, and he's 6'6". Okay, big boy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they mow through food like crazy. And I look at my daughter. How the hell are you doing it? She says, "It's tight, Pop. It really is tight." So something's got to give somewhere. To me, it's everybody politicizes it. To me, it's corporate greed. That's basically all it is.
Presidents get too much blame and too much credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the gas prices go up, it's Biden's fault. But if they go down, that's Biden's didn't fix that. No. It's like quarterback in football. They get too much of the blame, and
when they get sacked, he's a bum.
Right.
Yeah. I don't go there with that kind of stuff.
Have you been watching any of the basketball, especially the women's basketball?
You know what? I used to be big with that, and I haven't. I really haven't.
You should. It's tonight, I think. But Caitlin Clark from Iowa, unbelievable. She pulls up from about 30 feet and just launches. And there's no one that can guard her. And she scored 41 the other night. And then there's UConn got back in. And there's this woman, Paige Beckers, who was the player of the year as a freshman and then had a horrific knee injury and is 2 years back. But to watch them play is I love watching good people at the top end of whatever, people who are good chefs, people who are maestros in music, and these women can flat out play. And when I was younger, I played basketball growing up, and I would play in my 30s against college women, and they would kill us because they're quick. They can all dribble, they can all shoot. And then Caitlin Clark is, if those girls were here, she's up here.
She's up there, yeah. It's like a phenomenon,
Yeah, it's I enjoy watching, enjoying them. Anyway.
I used to. I didn't really watch a lot of professional basketball. I like college. This time of year, I like the Final Four and NCAA. Yeah. I was a big Duke fan, and living in North Carolina, that was kind of.
Say hi to Barbecue Mike.
Yeah, I did. Barbecue Mike's in the house.
3/4 of the people don't like you.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't like UNC. But I like either one. I mean, that was, and even when I lived in Jersey, I mean, Rutgers was there and stuff like that. I also liked, like Princeton and stuff like that. The Ivy League teams and stuff. But I got away from it. And being out here in the gambling capital of the world, I mean, you go into some of these sports books right now in the casinos, they're jam-packed watching basketball.
You're about to get a baseball team.
Oh, yeah. A's are coming.
And then you already have a football team. And
hockey team, great hockey team.
Right. And then they're talking about getting one of the basketball teams if they end up moving somewhere, that Vegas will be the next place they go.
Yeah. And the way it's situated in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, you want to see sometimes at night, okay, if they have something special going on, it's a big TV screen, basically what it is. So you can see that for a couple miles down the road coming up, and they have the different commercials and stuff. It's unbelievable how bright it is. It's almost like daylight. Right by my house, I mean, I could probably throw a rock and hit. They're just changing it now. They're changing it to Lee Liquor Stadium for the hockey. It's right around the corner for me.
Where's it relative to downtown and the airport?
What's that? For the hockey?
Allegiant.
Allegiant. Allegiant's. I mean, right there. I mean, it's probably 2 or 3 miles, 4 miles from the airport.
Okay.
What a venue! What a venue! Now they're taking down Tropicana. That's probably sometime this week. I think they're going to start dismantling it, and I don't know if they're going to do an implosion or not. But that's where Tropicana is. That's exactly where the A Stadium is going to be.
Ah,
And a big lot to do with that. Also, Formula One's coming back. What a nightmare that is. They don't need Formula One. All they got to do is put car cams on certain cars on the freeway here, and you got Formula One. It's crazy.
can't you just do it out in the desert
Yeah.
instead of downtown? I mean,
Yeah.
my son lives in St. Pete, Florida, and they do it in Tampa every year. And
Here's my favorite trucker right there.
Oh, peanut.
Peanut Trucker. Great guy.
Peanut Trucker, how's it going? He's unloading, but listening.
Yep.
That's a good thing. But they put these fences up that are about 10 to 12 feet high, and they've got the curvature so you can't come over.
Right.
And they're all through the downtown. And so you got this beautiful downtown, right near the water that is just, it's full of these Jersey walls and high fencing around. And I'm sure that's the same thing in Vegas.
Charlie, I was on a way to practice one night, with the band, and that's just before they were getting ready. They were putting the grandstands up, okay? And I just driving, and downtown on Las Vegas Boulevard, I'm driving, and I just hit my camera and did a little bit. Here's where the Formula One grandstands are. I got like 1,000, 1,200 hits on that, just on that thing alone.
Wow.
The restaurants hated it.
I'm sure, because you can't park and there's no way to get to them from the streets. And yeah,
but they had a lot of good impact. So I think that's here to stay. You know what I mean? Me personally,
yeah.
I used to like auto racing and stuff. I liked all kinds of sports back in the day. I lost my interest in it.
That you reminded me of something talking about the restaurant owners. So we have here in Milwaukee, right where I live, it's called Summerfest, which is a huge music fair. It used to be 2 weeks, and now it's 3 weekends in a row: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, noon to midnight, 14 stages on Lake Michigan. But the road I live on is the main road into Summerfest, and it's what they give us. They give us passes to be able to go through all the roadblocks and stuff. So as a resident, we don't follow along. But the reason the story is, in my building down on the bottom floor is a Latin restaurant called Cava, and she's forced to close because there's no parking. Because they're snaking along past, no one can stop, and all the parking around is for Summerfest. So she rails against it, even though it's a big thing for the city.
Yeah,
the small businesses get screwed because there's nowhere for them. They can't operate. Their people can't get to work. Their customers can't go anywhere. So I'm sure on Vegas, it's on steroids 100 times.
And that is what I get back to all the time. I always go back. I feel like the old guy. I always say, "Get off my lawn," but it's corporate greed over the local people. Now, if I'm going to come in from, say, Brazil to watch this Formula One race in Vegas, okay, which is in a way it's kind of intriguing to begin with, how they did it, okay, but in the same token, they had one car. I don't know what happened, but the manhole exploded underneath I guess from the force of the tire or whatever. It come up underneath the car and wrecked the car from underneath. Yeah. So, I mean, that's, well, let's go back to the drum. Mike, you were supposed to worry about that over there, one of them kind of things. But there again, to get the amount of people coming in for the hotels, okay, which wasn't really, because everybody stayed on the outskirts, okay, out like by me, and downtown, the restaurants suffered from it.
Yeah.
So,
you're right. They don't take into account the little guy. And the small business owner who is struggling and is living week to week trying to make ends meet. They got to take here. She's got to take off 3 weekends in a row, and that's when she's open. So she just closes for which should be, and she has sidewalk seating, but can't use it because it's just not viable. Right. Well, no, ours is just it's bumper to bumper in. It's 2 lanes. It's 2 lanes in, 2 lanes out, and it's bumper to bumper both ways all day long.
I mean, even now, Henderson. I keep talking about the town I'm in, just on the outskirts of Las Vegas, still Clark County, but it was a town that was going belly up. Okay, and I guess whoever got in office, whatever, come up with this revitalization of downtown. And I explained to you, they didn't change anything, they didn't knock anything down. They just brought it back up. So now what they do is they'll have car shows. Okay. They'll line the street, Water Street up with all this stuff. But what they do is they always think about the small person, because that's people walking, and they allow the restaurants to put stuff out front.
Right.
Okay. And so it's all about building up businesses downtown. But you can get around if you don't want to go see the car show. There's ways to go around and stuff like that. That's the good part of it. Okay. The bad part about doing something like that in that type of town is when they do this stuff. Okay. There's 3 casinos right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the pass is where I go to all the time, is one of the bigger ones. Then they got 2 smaller ones, which just sold, and one company bought them both. So I don't know how that's going to work. But now what they should do is, they were talking about doing this on the side streets of the town, each block. Okay. Putting these vendors up in there, blocking a little bit of that road off it, but still leave the main drag open.
Right.
So at least they're considerate as far as, but the bad thing is when they start it and when they end it. Okay. Because it's, they started earlier in the morning, and they go to 6, 7 o'clock at night, which people say, I'm not going to go there. I'll go somewhere else to eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Other than go through all that aggravation. So that's the kind of stuff they got to work on.
So it sounds like they're talking to the business association, because Henderson is a smaller environment than Las Vegas. Las Vegas is, we're worried about Steve Wynn and that stuff, rather than, because they're the ones with the clout. And in Henderson, it's the smaller businesses that run the business association that are hoping to both enhance what's going on in Henderson, but also draw people in and trying to get.
It's starting to change it, and a little bit more for the better. I think anyway. They're trying to bring not so much old Vegas, but bring it back to where it was when it was popular for people to come to. You know what I mean? I don't know how people afford to come out here anymore, honestly.
Let's stay at the Desert Inn.
Yeah. That's gone.
Oh, it's gone. Let's stay at the Tropicana.
Yeah, that's gone. Almost gone too. Couple of times. A guy did a thing about the Tropicana the other night on the TV, and I watched it for a little bit. And this used to be like this, and that used to be like that. Yeah, it used to be, but no more.
Yeah.
Play ball. I don't know. Charlie, what do you got coming up, man?
Let's see what I have. I'm in doing a collab with. I've done it a couple of years. It's the April Angler. It's fish dishes. So I just finished that the other day. Mediterranean halibut. Mostly for dinner. Because of both the collabs that we do, the international collabs, and my show, I've almost gotten away from doing any kind of cooking on video. And I was thinking about, as I was setting up, and go, where do I put the camera?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is everything? And I haven't made a video because I was traveling for, I was in New Orleans and Miami and Naples and Dallas for, 4 out of 6 weeks. Made no videos other than my show. So
I didn't know you went to Dallas.
I went to Dallas. My son lives in Santa Fe, and we met halfway. And we came over and did a bunch of fun things. We went to the JFK Museum, which was just fascinating for me, having grown up with that.
Mm-hmm.
We went up to Reunion Tower, which is 500 feet straight up in the air. You walk around outside. There's a lot of stuff to do there, and interesting food. We went to a basketball game, and then I met my son in Miami. He came over from the West Coast over to Miami, and we went to Little Havana, and there's a lot of artsy stuff there. And we're out just different things within the city of Miami, and we're just been traveling. So I've been doing no videos. Which
how did you like New Orleans?
Oh, I love that. I've been there a couple times. My wife, so since she's retiring, I decided I was going to glom onto any nice trips that she was taking. So she says, "Well, I got to go to New Orleans for a week." So, okay, I'll go. And so we went to. I'm sure you know Tipitina's.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Tipitina's, and it's an iconic music venue in New Orleans, and it's one of those. You go because it's Tipitina's. It's like going to the Fillmore East or CBGB's in New York or wherever. But so my wife said, well, who's playing? I says, well, the first answer would be, I forget, David Benoit. I said, okay. And the second answer is, it's Tipitina's. It doesn't matter. We're going.
Exactly.
So it's 8:00 show. And so the first thing we did, and this is an old person's thing. I said, well, it's 8:00. So we really can't get to dinner there. Can't find a good reservation nearby. Yeah. So we went to dinner at 3:30.
It sounds like us, Marie.
Right. So we could go back and change and then get into line in Tipitina's. So we were in line, and it holds about 500 or 600. You get no chairs, no seating whatsoever, all standing. And there's an upper level and the lower level in the front of the stage. And I walked in, I said, all right, we got to go upstairs. I'm not standing in this. So we walked upstairs, standing near the railing because everybody had already come in and kind of claimed a spot. So they played about 3 songs, and I looked at my wife and said, all right, let's go. Because we had to wait an hour for the show to start, and then we're standing there, and so I was going to Tipitina's for 3 shows, and but the food was great. Right on the Gulf. We were staying down the quarter. Went to a bunch of different nice restaurants all over the place. It was, I love New Orleans.
I'm from the old school. Especially after the couple hurricanes hit, wipe a couple things out. But I go back as far as sitting in K. Paul's, sitting at the table and have
Sure.
K. Paul. You paid extra and have K. Paul cook for you. Okay.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Was there room for you and Paul at the same time?
You know what? I was thinking about that the other night. That was a large man. Made me look like Twiggy.
Oh, he was well under 400 pounds.
And he would sit there. He had all the white on his hat, and he kept telling me, "You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this." He did. He did a blackened prime rib inside the place. Okay, everybody was going like that. He made me blackened shrimp and blackened prime rib. Okay, and I paid for the nose for it, but I tell you what, just nothing extraordinary, but just the fact that he did it. Okay,
Right.
And he gave me 2 bottles of black and rub. Here, this for you, chef. Here, this for you. But what a great place if you get away from the nonsense. If you get away from everybody's drinking whatever. But a lot of great places. I mean, just to watch. Whether they were classically trained or not. Okay. Most of them were classically trained from grandma. You know what I mean? And just the food that they would put out and stuff, different takes on different things. I was very intrigued with it. Then when I lived in Houston, I would go there quite a bit also.
The New Orleans?
New Orleans, and then I used to get up into around Lafayette area. That's a little bit more further north and totally different.
Well, the prologue to going to eat dinner at 3:30 was we were meeting some friends, and Ellen said, well, they want to take it out to lunch. I said, well, we can't go out to lunch. We're going to eat dinner. We kind of planned it working backwards. So they took us out to lunch out in about a half hour outside of New Orleans, down on the bayou. Now there's southern place. There's a little creek running behind with alligators in it. And I tried not to eat. I just kind of nibbled a little bit. And then we got back. And as soon as we got back, it was time to go to dinner. It's like, oh my God, we're just stuffing our face full of food. And then, so we got back from dinner at 5 o'clock and said, okay, we need to take a little nap. We got to Tipitina's and leave after 2 songs. But
wait in line.
There's a restaurant group in New Orleans, and I can't think of the name of it now. It's named after the nickname of one of the owners. But anyway, so they have these in different cities where there's a restaurant group that has 6, 8, 10 different restaurants, but they're all different. They're not. It's not a chain. So this one group had an Italian restaurant. It had a seafood restaurant. It had a meat. It was mostly all a carnivore type restaurant.
Okay. Yeah.
And all high end, quality oriented, service oriented. And so we went to 2 or 3 of those, and they're wonderful. We have a group here in Milwaukee called the Bartolottas, and they have the same thing. There's one in Cincinnati when you saw there, Jeff Ruby. And I think they have them that, people start these restaurant groups, and instead of replicating the same, and what made me think of it was Brennan's, because Brennan's has.
Oh yeah.
But they've picked up a couple of different places, and they're all Brennan's restaurants, but they're all different.
My nephew went to Tulane down there, and his job, coming from the bar business,
right.
He tended bar at Brennan's while I went to Tulane, and that's why I used to go down and see him, quite a bit, and run around through there a little bit. But the whole idea, see, even out here, okay, New York, for example, okay, they have every kind of restaurant you would think of that you would have in New York,
right?
Okay. But it's a tourist trap. Okay. So you're paying for stuff that really even that good. I mean, it's okay, but it's, I wouldn't make my trip there. Okay. Further downtown by the Sahara and also by the Needle, there's a place called Capo's. Okay. Capo's is an Italian restaurant. The guy's got 3 or 4 of them, I think. I don't know if 2 of them went under after COVID, but it was like a speakeasy. Old back in the day.
Uh-huh.
You walk in, you ring the bell, okay, and you stand in front of a red door. You ring the bell, and on the side over here, where the post office thing opens up, and the guy said, "What do you want?" Like that. I got a reservation for 4. Hold on. So we're waiting for the door to open, but it was like a brick wall. That was the door. Opened up, and you went in. Charlie, it was pitch black. They gave you little flashlights. Okay, you went past the bar. And you go in and have real low candlelight and sit down. The food was okay.
Right.
Your typical veal dishes and stuff like that. Well, a lot of Italian stuff. But then you'd have your eyes would get adjusted to the light. And then they would have some guy come over and he'd do card tricks and stuff like that, looking for tips, the whole bit. So it was that kind of place. But in the casinos, it's themselves, okay? It's more tourist trappy type of stuff.
Right.
I like the restaurants on the outskirts of the town. That's where it's better. My go-to place here is called Bootleggers. It's been there since 1947. Not in the original spot they're in now. They're a little bit more downtown, but now they opened up here. 1947, consistently great food. Okay. A little pricey. Service is impeccable. Okay. It's just a really nice place. But there's another place out here by me, okay, and it's called the Tuscany Grill. And I told you about this place before.
Uh-huh.
To this day, they have not raised their prices. I don't know how they're absorbing it or what's going on, but these guys are restaurant savvy, okay? They all work together in different restaurants downtown and stuff like that. There's another place I'm getting ready to go to now that I'm up walking around a little bit better. It's called the Italian American Club. This is it's back almost like down. When I say downtown, I mean Old Vegas.
So does Marie let you go to anything other than Italian restaurants?
You know what? That's where I like to go. That's my go-to place.
You're making your wife happy.
Yeah, no, even prior to that, that was my go-to, because you know what? To me, it was authentic.
Yeah.
They didn't pull no punches or anything like that.
Sure.
It's always straight up. So that's where we're going to next. They have great entertainment. I have played with a couple different of the entertainers that are there, and that's where I like to go. So I don't really get pulled into the trappy areas. You know what I'm saying? And who wants to pay $36 for a plate of spaghetti anyway? So when I can make my own beautiful ravioli. Wait till you see this, Charlie. You're going to be impressed.
Can't wait.
You might unfriend me.
Yeah, I'm an Italian food snob, but no, not that bad.
No, it was good. What I did was I made it with a mushroom cream sauce, and stuffed it with regat and garlic and portobello mushrooms. The ravioli.
Mine just leak. I get them sealed at 98%, but that's the 2% that ends up.
No, they didn't leak, but just you know what I did? I used Marie's grandmother's ravioli cutter. Okay, and
a little wheel.
Yeah, the little tiny wheel.
Yeah.
And but what I did is I folded it over rather than laying on top and cut all the way around it.
No.
I laid it in the middle and folded it over like that. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, but what I didn't do was I didn't put any egg into the mixture to bind it, the regat, and with everything else together.
Right.
So I just put it in because I was only making 10 of them, a dozen of them. So
I think my problem when I make raviolis is I always want to put too much stuff in them. I say that's not enough. That little bit. No, I got to put more in, and then it ends up blowing up or falling apart because I put too much stuff in it. Because they said don't put too much stuff in it. What I did. So
yeah.
I'm smarter than them.
So I don't know. Well, you got a couple months and you're heading to Italy.
I'm going to Italy and leave actually August 31st. Be back October 10th. Staying in Viareggio, which is a seaside resort on the Mediterranean, just west of Pisa. And then so we get Viareggio, then Pisa, then we go stay for 4 weeks in Lucca, the walled city. I've stayed in Lucca before. I haven't stayed inside the wall. So this time we're staying inside the wall. In a little 2-bedroom place. And I was telling you this, I'm going to try to talk to some chefs because I do speak enough Italian to abbastanza, enough to be dangerous, pericolo. So what I'd like to do is sit down with an Italian chef in their restaurant, ask them about it, talk about it, and then go back in the kitchen and, put me to work, chef. Let me see how you do it. I'm kind of winging it, but I think I can get somebody to play with me for a day or two.
I think that's a good approach to do it. I mean, I wouldn't plan too much. Just let it, roll the dice.
Yeah. But the 2 areas we're staying in are somewhat touristy. The Viareggio absolutely is. It's one of the it's one of the sailing capitals of Italy. So there's a lot of boats that come in, international boats. So I think a lot of the people that work in the service industry there speak English. And then in Lucca, that's always been that it's a Puccini. It's the home of Puccini.
Yeah.
They have Puccini festivals. So we'll see.
The fact of the matter is that you're going, okay? I know you're going to enjoy yourself, okay? And send some film back to these peasants back here.
I will send some film. I want to travel to some of the places I've never been. From where we're staying, I can get to Milan. I can actually get to Monaco in like 4 hours.
Wow.
Going up the coast and around on the top of the Mediterranean. Cinque Terre is wonderful. And I don't want to go to Venice. I've been to Florence, I mean, if we have people come who've never been to Italy, you almost have to go to Rome. I mean, you can't come to Italy and, get on a train and then, get to the hinterland.
I watched the thing the other night on a couple different people who travel to Rome and then to Naples. Okay. And that seems to be the big argument about when you go to Italy, Rome or Naples, which one, and the consensus I seen was Rome for one time, I'll never go back, but Naples I'll always go back to.
I love Naples. We stayed there last time we went last year. It was a lot of fun. Rome is like going to Washington, D.C., but as a D.C. native, it's a little bit different because I lived there most of my life. But most people go to D.C. to see the monuments, to see the museums, but that's about it. They're not really looking at that. Let's go look at some neighborhoods. Let's go, they're not doing that. And it's the same in Rome. You want to see the Colosseum. You want to see the Trevi Fountain. You want to, walk the Spanish Steps. So that's so people who've never been there, they want that experience. Going to the catacombs, going to, and you can do all that in half a day. Yeah, and you can because they're all the Colosseum and the catacombs and all that stuff is pretty close. And then you go to the Vatican. You got to go to the Sistine Chapel. Blah blah. But I like the real Italy, and that's where Naples kind of comes into play because it's on the water. There's so much to do there. I much prefer. So that's a good way to look at it.
My brother went to Italy, and what he did was he wanted to get off the beaten trail. He didn't want no tourists. He didn't want to do no bus tours, none of that stuff like that. And he got hooked up, I guess, from the hotel where they were staying, whatever, to go to some family's house for dinner.
Right.
They cooked dinner from there, and he said, "I'll tell you what," he says, "what an experience that was." He's how glad they were to see you. Half of them didn't. They spoke broken English, but enough to get through to understand what they were talking about and stuff. Right. That was a great experience from there. Have you ever seen? I don't want to stay too much longer. We're going to jump out of here in a little bit. Have you ever seen John Pinette, the comedian, the big heavyset comedian?
No.
Well, he died now. Charlie, if you get a chance, look him up, John Pinette. Okay. And watch what he does. He was filming they were doing a movie in France. Okay. He said, and he has a high pitched voice, but he was huge. Okay? Uh-huh. He said, French food's good, but it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? He said, I was dying for Italian food. And he was speaking Italian a whole bit. All right. Next thing you notice, he said, the guy on his set said, one day we should go to Italy. He said, yeah, right. He said, it's only, an hour ride.
Right.
He went, an hour ride. Get in the car. It's hysterical. You got to watch it and everything.
So what you were just talking about, going to someone's house and having them cook dinner, there's an industry in Italy called the Cesarina. The Cesarina, there's various ways to do it, but the basic is you go to someone's house, they either have the food or you go to the market with them. You go back to their place. It's a combination cooking class and they've done some work. So they teach you a few things and then they're also cooking. Then you sit down, you eat it. So this is a true Italian experience. You go to the market, you go to the, you walk up 3 flights. Then you have a bunch of stuff there. And the woman that we were with before, she spoke okay English, but I speak okay Italian. So, we were even, but she lived with her 85-year-old mother who spoke no English.
Oh boy.
No, but I can communicate enough. So when Cesarina Anna was in the kitchen preparing, I sat down, I talked to her mom. I said, Dove la famille? Just where's your family from? How long have you lived here? And in short sentences, short declarative sentences in the present tense, oh, I'm all over that. But when you start, as in any language, once you start talking in slang and colloquialisms and rapid fire, what'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. You talking to me?
But that Cesarina is all over Italy, in most cities, and that is absolutely something I'm going to do when we go, depending on who comes and visits. But it's a one. So your friend is absolutely correct. It's a great Italian experience to go to someone's house, have them cook for you, experience the fresh food that they're getting at the market, and how they make it at home.
So if you really stop and think about it, okay, when you go to an Italian restaurant, okay, you're actually going to a place where somebody's grandmother came up with this dish,
right?
Okay, and they're trying to replicate it or whatever, you know what I mean? And to me, I'd rather go right to the horse's mouth. I mean, right there and see what it is. I would love to go. I really would. Like I said, I have a little issues now. Older I am.
Yeah, 2 bedrooms.
The fact of the matter is, Marie would love to go. You know what I mean? She's been going back in her family history and stuff like that. Especially when we were talking about the different little tools that she had that was handed down to her. She would love to go, but then it gets to the point where I can't deal with the lines and order, getting searched and everything like that. If they had to strip search me, it would take a week. So, but then there again, that's why I want her to replicate a little bit more with Seniors Food and Life about her stuff, about different little things they did. Charlie, I'm telling you the God's honest truth. Christmas time when my mother-in-law was alive and she would come down to the house in New Jersey and they would start making the Christmas cookies. Okay. And Bethels, they call them. And the, what do they call it? Rosettes. Okay. With the irons and stuff. I'd have to leave.
Paroli.
I'd have to leave because they almost come to blows. That's not the way you do it. Hey, see you later. That was the only time she had no problem with me going to a gin mill and go and have a few drinks.
A gin mill. You're old.
But the gravity of what they did, how they did the Easter, everything was a big to do. You know what I mean?
Mom spoiled you.
Yeah, my mother-in-law spoiled me because she used to call me Thomasine, and then we make Thomasile. And she'd make me a little side stuff. She would. That's for my Thomasile. Hey, no touch. I tell everybody. So
is Marie's family's from Sicily? Because that's one place I do want to go when we're there. So I want to get to Sicily.
Sicily and Naples is where I guess from. I don't know if her father's family. I think her father's family was from. She has cousins that they go back and forth.
I got people there. Petrilla Soprano is the little town.
Petrilla Soprano
in
Sicily.
Okay.
Is the town she's from. They're from.
Beautiful.
And that's where her grandmother's from. From which side of the family? Your dad or your mom?
My dad's mother.
His dad's mother's.
Barbera.
Barbera. They make wine over there.
I'll tell him you said hello.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
except I don't speak Sicilian, which is not Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
I mean, it's not the Sicilian language is different than the Italian language. That's what I meant, Maria. Not one or the other. It's the language itself.
Charlie, there was a place in Florida, real quick. There was a place in Florida we used to go to. My buddy, he passed away, and I tell you what, he was a great guy. He had a pizzeria up in Ohio. And him and his wife had a house where we were in Florida. Okay. So they would come down, spend the winter down in Florida, and then he would go back up. His daughter ran the pizzeria and Italian restaurant. This guy loved food. When me and him connected, okay, and I started cooking, he said, "Where the hell are you coming from?" All right. So we went out. He was taking us out to an Italian restaurant, okay, in I can't remember the name of the town that was in. We lived in Tarpon Springs. So it was like the next town down. Anyway, we we're walking into the restaurant, and the owner's there, and he's talking Italian. So he says to Anthony, "Where are you from? What part of the?" And Anthony was telling him where he was from. His both sides of the family. Then his wife was half Italian, half Greek, and she said what part of Italy she's from. And they said to Marie, "Hey, Miss Marie," kissed her hand. "What part of Italy?" She said, "I'm from Sicily and Naples." So he comes up to me and he says, "What part of Italy are you from?" I said, "Galway." He said, "Oh, son of a bitch."
A sud, a nord.
So yeah, it's a great culture. I love it. I love Italian food. It's one of my favorites. And the other one is Chinese food. I love making Chinese food. I love not the commercialized ones. I like to indulge with a little bit of stuff that I watched from way back when. I actually took a course when I was younger, and I had a guy worked for me in our restaurant who was from Hong Kong.
It's all fresh food. I mean, there's not a lot of processed food in Chinese food. It's all fresh vegetables and no rice, but it's a healthy way to eat most of the time.
And everybody rags against MSG. I like MSG. MSG actually brings the flavor out in food. Basically, what it does.
Yeah, but the Knicks aren't any good. Oh, you're not talking about Madison Square Garden. Okay.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, Charlie, we're on an hour and 16 minutes. I do appreciate you always coming up here.
I appreciate being asked. Thanks so much. Looking forward to. I got to go back and watch Sausage and Peppers from Marie.
Yeah.
That's one of my. I used to make that for my babysitter when our boys were little, and she'd come in one day and says, "Charlie, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Could you make sausage and peppers again?" Because I always leave extras, for her to eat during the day when we were out. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite things to eat, make, and I guess it's going to be one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the bread is the big thing. The bread's the key.
Well, I appreciate it always, Tom. Have best of luck to you and Marie, and we'll be chatting soon and see you around the old YouTube.
Yep. And like they say back where I come from, see you around like a donut.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.